Welcome to my course on aspects of biochemical engineering. Now today in the last two classes, the last couple of classes I discussed microbiology and biochemistry, which is very essential as per biochemical engineering is concerned. We should understand that microbiology that deals with mostly what are the different microbes, what is the classification of microbes, and biochemistry mostly deals with what are the different biomolecules present in the living systems and how we take part in different reactions. Now, this particular lecture I deals with that what are the different bioproducts that is and their market value, because what do you mean by bioproducts? Now, if you look at the bioproducts are usually produced from the living cells such as bacteria, yeast and algae, because different type of living cells that can produce the bioproduct. Not only living cells, it can be produced from non-living cells also, like enzymes or biomass it can produce. You see that here that living system we talk about the bacteria, yeast and algae, and non-living cells maybe enzymes and the biomass that we have. Now, the bioproducts we have production of the commercially useful product made by the use of biological microbes or renewable material. So, bioproducts not only mean that which is produced by the living system, but if we use some kind of biomaterials for the production of some useful product, that also we consider as a bioproducts. So here I can see that I can show you that what are the living organisms. Already we discussed. We have bacteria. We have bacteria. We have this bacteria. Then we have algae. Then fungi, yeast, that is largely used for the formation of different useful products. Now, if you look at the enzymes, but I have given the example of catalase enzyme. Now, catalase enzyme is mostly present in the aerobic organism. What is the aerobic organism? I told you before that microorganism usually take the oxygen which is dissolved in the fermentation media. And this when they take the oxygen, it forms some kind of superoxide like hydrogen peroxide or some superoxide. So, they should have some enzyme which can degrade this the superoxide molecule. The catalase is one type of enzyme that can degrade the H2O2 to H2O plus O2, and this O can be used by the organism for their metabolic purpose. So, this is how it here it is shown that. Now, what are the different bioproducts that we have in the market? We have different bioproducts. As for example, we have, I told you that I mentioned that there are different antibiotics that is we have in the market. Particularly, if you look at the history of the bioproducts, that that first antibiotics that has been marketed in the world, that is the penicillin. And penicillin is kind of antibiotics. It is active against the gram-positive bacteria. Then we have enzymes. The enzymes we have amylase, we have protease, glycanase, and the renin is largely used in the different industry. As for example, amylase we have largely used in the beer making industry. The amylase and protease, they are largely used in the beer making industry. Then renin is used in the cheese making industry, and in the vaccine we that is used for the several purpose in our day-to-day life. I can give the example of polio vaccine. This vaccine due to the invention of this vaccine, the infection of polio has been removed to a great extent. Then hormone is largely used in the agricultural sector for the growth of the plant as well as in the animals also. Sometimes we use the hormone in the human beings also use for some rectification of some diseases. We use something, and then single cell protein. that is used as a source of protein, because as you know, the microorganisms, they grow very fast as compared to plant cell and other materials. So it can be used as a very good source of protein. And a kind of example we have, that is the Baker's yeast. And finally, I want to tell the processes can be used for the production of different oxychemicals, and this as ethanol, acetic acid, butanol, butyl-diol, and citric acid. The different type of products we can produce through this process. Bioproducts can be classified in 3 different ways. One is called low value, high volume products, and the medium value and medium volume products, and high value, low volume products. Now, what do you mean by that? I can give a typical example. Suppose when we talk about the citric acid industry, and citric acid is produced by using Aspergillus niger from cane molasses, and this is a voluminous product, because a huge amount of product, and concentration of this citric acid may be maybe 10 to 11%. So you know that we use as a bulk production. I can give the example of ethanol. Ethanol, when produced in the fermentation process, the concentration may vary from 10 to 14 or 15%, and this we produce in the bulk. So this is the low value and high volume products. Low value with respect to the per unit cost of the product is very low, and high volume means the amount of product that is very high. That I work with Citogia Biochemicals, and where we used to produce 4 to 5 tons of citric acid per day. Now, medium volume and medium value and medium volume product, we mean that if the cost of production, I can give very typical example in the coming slide. Then I hope it will be clear that if you look at low volume and high volume products, we mean that if the cost of product is 6 pound per kg of products, this is within the 6 pound per kg we call it. Then examples, as I told you, this is citric acid, which is nothing but the tricarboxylic acid, largely used for our day-to-day requirement. And factors that affecting the crucial low value products is the cost of raw materials, duration of the fermentation process, and overall cost of the utilities. And utilities means heating, cooling, and air supply. Those are the different utilities that depends on the cost of production. Now, medium value, high volume products, we have that whose cost is around 60 pound per kg. This is the examples are different antibiotics. I have given the examples of penicillin, who is largely used in our day-to-day life for killing the gram-positive bacteria, because when we have some kind of injury, we have some kind of pus formation, and this pus formation can be rectified with the help of penicillin. And factors affecting this process is the duration of fermentation and utility of the utility and the nutrient cost, because we know, as for example, that in case of penicillin production, we required not only carbon source like glucose, but also it nitrogen source as constrip liquor, but also it requires some kind of precursor like phenylacetic acid and phenoxyacetic acid. Now, high value, low volume products, we have a few, and cost is more than this is 60 pound per milligram of products. And examples are human insulin. As you know that we have as the time passes on, more and more people, they are infected by suffering from diabetes, and they used to take this insulin, and insulin is produced by using recombinant DNA technology, and this is very costly. So this cost is it lies in between the 60 pound per milligram. It is usually produced about 1 kg of product per year. And another important example is the interferon. The major emphasis for improving this strain, the stability, level of expression, and overall cost of the product. Because since it is a recombinant protein, so level of expression that plays very important role. Now, if you look at the general category of bioproducts, we can have three different categories. One is we consider the bioenergy. We have bioenergy as we consider it can be available in both the forms, both three forms we have. One is that solid fuels and the liquid fuels and the gaseous fuels. Now, solid fuels, we have biomass, we have different biomass, we can burn the biomass, we can get the energy, but the problem with the solid biomass is the transportation problem, but liquid and gaseous fuel has added advantage because we can easily transport the liquid or gaseous fuel from one place to other very easily. Now, the different biochemicals, if you look at, we have in the pharmaceuticals industry, we have vaccine, industrial chemicals, we have citric acid and enzymes, and biocosmetic, we have body creams. This is a lot of bioproducts nowadays used as a cosmetic industry, so that carcinogenic property of the pure chemicals can be reduced to a great extent. Now, biomaterials we have used in the industry. We have bioplastic. I can give the example of that polylactic acid, which is largely used in the pharmaceutical industries. Biocompost, which has lot of application in our agricultural sector. As you know, due to use of the inorganic fertilizer, the fertility of the soil that reduces to a great extent. By using the biocompost, it is possible to retain the fertile character of the soil, and fertile character of the soil depends on the water retention property of the soil, because plant used to take their nutrient through the process of diffusion through their roots and bioform and bio rubber. This is another the biomaterials we have. Now this is how fermentation is carried out. This is, if you look at then I showed you this Emmons-Meyerhof pathway. 1 mole of glucose produces 2 moles of pyruvic acid, and then this pyruvic acid, what is the formula of pyruvic acid? This is CH3 CO COOH. Now, when it undergoes decarboxylation reaction, it forms the acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde formula is CH3CHO, and then when it is when it is further reduced, it will form CH3 CH2OH. So this is the different how the ethanol formation takes place, and throughout the world, most of the country they are producing the ethanol through the biological process just to replace the gasoline, because gasoline usually produced from the fossil fuels which has limited reserve. Now, industrial fermentation process, the 4 major groups that is commercially important for the fermentation exist. The production, these are the microbial cells or biomass as the product. When biomass itself acts as the product, I told you the baker's yeast industry, the baker's yeast used in the bread making industry, largely used, and this can be used as a single cell protein as a source of protein, and also probiotic it is used, because probiotic is very important nowadays, and sometimes we want, because in our system, in a metabolic system, we might be aware we have some desirable organism that is required in our metabolic system, so that our system then can work in a proper manner. So nowadays, lot of industry they are producing probiotics, and which is largely recommended by the doctor for giving our digestion problem. Now, and there are several microbial enzymes we have, like amylase, protease, catalase, and glucose oxidase. Besides that, I told you this is not only used in the food or pharmaceutical industry. This also used in the detergent sector, because particularly protease enzyme, when we have some kind of stain in our cloth, that if we use some protease enzyme, the stain will go. But if we use this protease enzyme, it will go. That will help for removing the stain. This is, then we have different metabolic microbial metabolites that is used. I told you this is ethanol ethanol. Then we have citric acid, vitamin, acetone, butanol, glutamic acid, lysine. Different types of biochemicals we can use for our different requirement. Now, here I want to stress one point, that whatever whatever chemicals we require in our day-to-day life, most of the chemicals can be produced through the biological means, but in practice these are not in practice. The reason is that the concentration of these biochemicals in the fermentation broth is so small, our recovery cost is so high that we cannot compete with the chemical process. So we do research just to improve upon the process, so that concentration of these chemicals increases, so the recovery cost can be reduced to some extent, so that we can compete with the chemical process. So in that way, that is the one disadvantage we have with the biochemical process, that the concentration of the product. If we can increase the concentration of the product, then and only then we can reduce our recovery cost and we can compete with the chemical process. Now here I want to show you one very interesting thing, that what is the chronological development of the different bioproducts and bioprocesses we have. And if you look at our we are talking about the history, that how different bioproducts formation take place. Now if you look at the before if it was 6000 BC, before Christ, that we have mostly the yeast is used to make wine and beer. So that is the startup of the bioproducts. Then yeast is then 4000 BC, yeast is used for making the leavening breads. This is then in 1910 AD, then we have used this process for the sewage treatment using the microbes developed. Now here I want to point out again that waste it has been observed by the Central Pollution Control Board that most of the chemical and biochemical industry, they pose some kind of environmental pollution problem to our water stream to a great extent. And more than 70% of the this wastewater treatment processes are controlled through the biological means, because the reason is that if you use the biological process, your microorganism can utilize the soluble organics very easily and convert it to carbon dioxide and cell mass. And since the cell mass is the insoluble mass, you can easily separate it out. This is the major advantage of that. That is why it is largely used in case of the wastewater treatment process. Then 1912 to 14, large scale production of acetone, butanol and glycerol using the bacteria that take place. And then 1962, that mining of uranium with the aid of microbes that take place. Now here let me stress one thing, that the bioleaching that plays important role as per the industry is concerned, particularly in case of the ores where the metal concentration is very low. Now if the ore contain very less amount of metal, our recovery cost is very high. So usually it is recommended they should go through the bioleaching process, so that the insoluble material can be solubilized in the liquid form, and then from the liquid form we can purify the product very easily. And then 1973, first successful genetic engineering experiment that take place, and this is very important. The reason is that through the genetic engineering it is possible to get the very useful products. I have given the example of insulin, and that is largely used for safeguarding our diabetes disease. And not only that, we use this for hepatitis B and other vaccine also we produce with the help of the genetic manipulation techniques. Then in 1980, that human food, marketing of human food of vulgar organs, that is another, because here I want to stress one thing, that since we are living in a vastly populated country, or other country also it is same applicable, that a time will come our agricultural land will not be sufficient to give the food to our people. In that case we shall have to find out better utility of the food, and for the better utility of the food, we shall have to enrich the quality of the food. I can give a typical example that if you consider the vegetable protein, the utilization efficiency of the vegetable protein is about 10%, and if we because this is the reason is that that essential amino acids present in the vegetable protein not proper, because some 1 or 2 essential amino acid might be lacking. I can give the example of the rice protein, it lacking of lysine enzyme. So if we add lysine to this rice, then the utilization efficiency of the rice protein will increase to a great extent. So those are the things we shall have to look into. So the small amount of product, if a small amount food we take, that will give the better impact in our body. So our food consumption will reduce to a great extent. Then in 1981, the use of monoclonal antibody for diagnostic purpose is approved by USA. 1983, approval of insulin produced, I have already discussed. Then 1984, we have the interferon products and other products that has been shown here. Now let me give you the examples of list of different important enzymes and their applications. As for example, that if you look at protease enzyme I was talking about, this is used in the food processing industry, detergent industry and healthcare. Now particularly I can tell you that in the I already discussed about how protease is used in the detergent industry, healthcare, particularly in the day-to-day life when we take food, little bit higher amount of food in our system, then our system may be overburdened, or during the examination or during the disease, during the infection of a particular patient, the enzyme secretion of the body is not proper, then doctor recommended some kind of the enzymes from outside, so that it helps in the digestion process. And the food processing industry also, it has lot of use. Then lipase, as you see, it is used in the dairy industry and for improving the food products, and also the food processing industry is largely used. The cellulose, they largely used for the biofuel industry breakdown, because it has been found that the lignocellulosic material might be the best raw materials for the production of biofuels, because the raw material cost will be very less as compared to any other biomass. So by using the cellulose enzyme, it is possible to use the cellulose molecule for getting these biofuels. Then isomerase, that used for the conversion of glucose to fructose syrup. As you know, the fructose is more sweeter than glucose. Then xylanase is used for paper making industry. Then ligase and nuclease used in the molecular biology. Renin is used in change making industry for precipitation of the proteins. Then pectinase enzyme, that food processing industry, food pulping processing, beta glucanase, that is used in the brewing industry. The trypsin is used in the pharmaceutical industry, and tannase is used for the elimination of tannin. These are the different industry that we can have. Then other bioproducts market value, because I can give you, it is unfortunately I don't have the all bioproducts market value, but some major market value products is given here. Firstly, I want to point out therapeutic proteins and monoclonal antibody largely market in the world market. It is about 170,000 million $. Presently we have in the market. Antibiotics, we have 26,000 $. Then we have amino acid and organic acid, we have 12,000 $. Industrial enzyme, we have 5,000 $, and vitamin we have 3,000 $. Fine chemicals and secondary metabolites, we have 11,000 million $. So this clearly indicates the potentiality of bioproducts in the global market. Now other that global production of the different specific product in the market is also given here. Now if you look at that bioethanol, that is now it is producing about 26 lakhs actually, that 2060 lakhs, that is tons, that huge amount of 26 into 10 to the power 6 tons of this bioethanol is produced. Then glutamic acid is 1000 tons, then citric acid also 1000 tons, the lysine is the 350,000 tons, lactic acid is 250,000 tons, vitamin C 80,000 tons, this is gluconic acid is 50,000 tons, antibiotics is 35,000 tons. Then that feed enzymes is enzymes can be used, as you know, I told you it can be used for the medicinal tonic, that is feed enzymes is about 20,000 tons, xanthan it is about 30,000 tons, threonine is kind of amino acid, this is 10,000 tons, then nicotinamide this is 3,000 tons, vitamin F 1,000 tons, as then other products is given here. So this indicate that that amount of production of these bioproducts and the market value of the bioproducts is significantly high in the world market. The market value, some pharmaceutical products are given here. You see the erythropoietin, this is 6,803 million US dollar. Insulin is 4,017 million US dollar. So blood clotting factors, then blood clotting factors, we know that during some kind of the cerebral attacks and other things, the blood clotting take place, those largely used. Then in the colony stimulation factor, interferon beta, interferon alpha, monoclonal antibiotic, growth hormone, monoclonal antibodies, that plasminogen activated, and interleukin, growth factor, therapeutic vaccine, and other protein. So all these market values are given here, and that because main purpose of giving this value, just to give you an overall impression that different bioproducts has occupied significantly in the world market. So in this particular presentation, I try to tell you that what are the different bioproducts we have, and bioproducts mainly divided into three different ways. The low value, high volume products, medium value, medium volume products, and high value, low volume products. So that purely depends on the cost of the products. We have seen that in case of low value, high volume products, the cost of the products lies within the 6 pound per kg of the products. Now in case of medium value and medium volume products, the cost of the products is within 60 pound per kg of the products, but in case of high value and low volume products, we have 60 pound per milligram of that product. So now different examples I have given as far as these products are concerned. Also I try to point out that what are the different market values of this particular bioproducts we have, and what are the different uses of the bioproducts in our day-to-day life, and what is the amount of bioproducts that has been marketed in the world market. I hope this will give you the overall ideas on the bioproducts. Thank you very much.